So a lot of people have been asking me to do commentary on a Heimerdinger support game. Let me start off just by saying this is going to be a very raw video. There's no script. I didn't plan anything ahead of time. It's going to be a lot of me pausing to think about what I want to say. It's a 28-minute game, so it should be a 28-minute video. Alright, so let's begin. So, let's talk about the opening from Support Heimerdinger, what you do. In this case, I took turrets first. They serve a few purposes. You can see I placed them in the bushes to scout out a potential invade, since the enemy team had a Thresh. Pretty common for a Thresh to invade, especially with a Poppy. You know, when you start a game, you should look at the enemy lineup and think about the synergy between the champions. So the Thresh can hook someone, Poppy can slam them into the wall, and then you look at our team. Our team is pretty terrible, level 1, to be honest. Turrets are also good for leashing. You can put 3 turrets directly on top of a buff. What this does is the buff will attack them instead of the jungler. And they die, the turrets die, that way you don't steal it. I've only had one situation where I steal a buff, and it's kind of the ADC's fault because they overleashed and stayed too long. And basically my turrets didn't die fast enough, so I stole a buff. Rarely happens, most of the time it's fine. So, turret start is also good against melee supports like Thresh, Blitzcrank. It lets you get a little bit of a shove in lane, which is good. Also lets you block their hooks. So you can see here, she gets hooked. I mean, I should have been probably near the bush. But, you know, a little bit of a mispositioning from her. I don't know if I had a turret up that I could have placed in front of her. Maybe I did. Anyway, it's not too bad. We have to use a lot of summoners. They use heal and ignite. We use flash, exhaust, and heal, so a little bit more. Also, I took grenades level 2 because I saw they were trying to all in. That's not my usual skill order. Usually I would have rockets to start poking with at this point. In fact, a lot of games I will take 2 points into rockets by level 3 and not even take the grenade to level 4. This does backfire sometimes, and it's something I think about changing. I've had junglers gank early on where if I had the grenade, I might have been able to prevent them from getting a kill. You basically have to decide if it's worth it, because the damage is a lot more. You can definitely notice level 2 rocket versus level 1. So you basically just see I'm putting turrets down, trying to get auto attacks onto the ADC, and so far this lane is going okay. You know, we didn't die. That could have been bad. But, so Thresh had to go back, the Tristana stayed, and at this point, I am at 430 gold, which is kind of a bad back for me. I want 500 gold to upgrade my support item, so I didn't want to go back here. We're about to get ganked. And that went super well for us. We actually got both of their flashes, didn't die, survived the gank, and Tristana's low. Now, unfortunately, Poppy TP's here. I try and get the stun as the TP finishes channeling, but he is smart enough to flash immediately, and then slams her into the wall. I mean, he was going to flash anyway to get that slam. It wasn't necessarily he was thinking, oh, I gotta flash this grenade. So maybe that's a mistake on my part that I should have thought about it. Now, I have very little mana here. There's not a lot I can do. Throw a grenade and miss the stun. I actually think if I land the stun, he may have gotten the kill. It's pretty close. so mechanics matter. But yeah, so not the best start to the lane, and that's kind of why I picked this game, because you're going to see that in this game we're actually heavily pressured. We don't get a lot of help from our team. I think my team comes bot lane 2 times. That Kayn, who just came bot lane now, was once, and later on I believe Diana comes down 1 time. I may be forgetting once, but compared to the amount of pressure their team put on bot lane, what our team did, we got very little help this game. So I think this is a good game to showcase because we're playing from behind. We're kind of like just doing our own thing. Can't really rely on other people to help us. It's not like a game where our lane is heavily camped and they're just winning the game for us. You know, anyone can win those games. So in this type of matchup with Heimer vs Thresh, you just want to keep putting turrets down and shoving, and getting poked down like that when you can. So I start pinging that the Thresh is missing, because I see action in mid lane, and I suspect he might be roaming there. He did go up the river, but I think it was to get the fruit, to heal up a little bit and get mana back. More poke down on him. So we're going to be maxing rockets in this type of matchup 100% of the time. When I play solo lane Heimer, I tend to max your turrets. I know not everyone does that these days. Rocket max is pretty popular even at solo lane, but I don't like it. But I support 100% on them for rocket maxing. So right here, you can see the Thresh is kind of like creeping up a little bit, and it's pretty obvious he wants to do something. I exhaust the wrong target here, but honestly, I don't think it would have mattered because the Cassidy was here, and they have enough damage to just kill us. So it's a lot of pressure. I mean, we got TP flashed on from the Poppy. We got Cassidy roaming on us. It's been a bit of a difficult lane so far. But when you consider these other things, I mean, if you look at the damage we're getting onto them with poke and stuff, this is actually like would be going well for us if, you know, if we just weren't getting camped so much. But I mean, that happens. It's a team game. It's not an isolated 2v2, especially in this meta. So you have to kind of plan for these things and expect them to happen. So as a support, I feel you have a lot more free brain power to do other things in the game since you don't have to CS. Like, you know, if you put a player into a practice game and you tell them to do something, like pay attention to the minimap, they're good at that, they can do it. You tell them to CS, they can do that, they're good at it. If you are playing one-on-one with like a friend or something and just practicing, they're pretty decent at trading. But in a real game, when there's like your own team to keep track of, 5 members of the enemy team to keep track of, you don't know if the jungler's gonna gank you soon, so now you have to start trading, paying attention to the minimap, CSing. You have to do all these things together at the same time. It becomes a lot more difficult, and being able to multitask like that is something that separates higher elo players from lower elo players. So playing support, you don't have to CS. It does free up your ability to maybe watch the map a lot more. You can, you know, ping and try and help your team. Sometimes you'll see supports who are really big into like keeping track of the summoner spell timers of the enemy. I personally don't do that, probably should. Like, I know there's some people they'll literally type it out every time something's used. They'll type what time it's coming back up and for who and for what. I think Trance But he's a support player. He's pretty good at that. One of the best, I would say. So we have decent vision down now. We got the river covered. We got our tri-bush covered with a pink. And they're never really going to get to that tri-bush because to clear the ward, unless like the Poppy comes the way she is right now. But I mean, the duo lane can't do it themselves because they're just too shoved all the time. So that was a really good flash hook from the Thresh. This is the TP from Diana. But they have 4 people down here. And I don't really have cooldowns to be able to help her. Missed my grenade here, that was pretty bad. I do get a pretty good exhaust down. That I may have saved Diana. I'm not sure of Kassadin's damage at that level. He did have a Rod of Ages, so I'm not sure. So yeah, this is, you know, another 4 of the enemy or bot lane, and we get a late TP. Doesn't really do anything. We did kill the Poppy, so I guess it's 1 for 1, right? It's not too bad. But a lot of pressure in this bot lane so far. My support item just finished. 11 minutes, it's okay. I should probably talk about runes a little bit. I'm using Airy for a little extra poke. I'm using Mana Flow Band, because that combined with the Frost Fang, and then I go for Lost Chapter, which I'm about to buy right now? Question mark? Yes, I do. So at this point, mana's never going to be an issue for the rest of the game, for me. I also decided to go for the Inspiration as secondary. I was using Domination, because I like the Eyeball Collection. That's a free 30 AP that you get pretty easily. I like Ingenious Hunter and the Movement Speed one. Those are both 2 good options for support Heimer. But lately I've been using Inspiration because I like the biscuits that you get. I feel like it lets you stay in lane a little bit longer. And I like the free boots. It's, you know, more movement speed when you get them because it's plus 10 compared to the regular boots you can buy. And it's also free. Free is good. Another option is the Commencing Stopwatch. If you're in a matchup where they have like a Rengar or Kha'Zix, some kind of like highly insane burst that sneaks up on you, and you think you're gonna need an early Hourglass, you can go for the Stopwatch, which saves you 600 gold. I didn't feel like I needed it this game. I mean, it's not terrible, but their champions, I feel, are kind of manageable as long as you're like positioning properly. So we are pretty behind here. Not too behind. My ADC is about 600 gold behind theirs. And I'm actually ahead of the Thresh in terms of gold by about 400. So net gold is not as bad as it could be, considering what's happened in this bot lane so far. So we have a ward on Dragon here, and he wanted to pull it out, I think, so I put a turret over the wall to basically keep the dragon where it is. Kind of whiffed my rockets there, which honestly, actually, wait, let's go back quickly. So you can see that Tryndamere doesn't have his ult up, available to him. Yeah, I throw my grenade in there, which I think did hit him. The rockets whiffed, and if you look at his health right now, had I connected those rockets, that would have been another kill for us. And we got the dragon. So they got a kill. We got the dragon, and we get a kill there. Mechanics matter. That's, I think, 2 kills this game that we could have had if I landed abilities. So, I mean, I'm not perfect. Maybe I should be playing a different champion that doesn't have skill shots, like, you know, Vi or something. Anyway. Not the worst thing in the world. We get the dragon. It's only an ocean. Doesn't matter too much. But it is early in the game still, so an ocean drake is nice. I don't mind stealing a little bit of CS every now and then. You see I have 28 here. Also, you want to get your autos in, but like, we're pushing the tower. This was a weird TP from Camille. The Camille kind of struggled in the early game. Poppy definitely outperformed the Camille, which made this game harder than it was. But it's doing his best. It is a hard matchup because you can't. The Poppy can interrupt the dash. I don't know the name of abilities. The dash stun thing she does off the wall. That thing that she just used there. Poppy can knock her up when she tries to do that. So I think I've never played the matchup. I don't play those champions, but just thinking about it, it's pretty Poppy favorite, I would say. So first turret still hasn't gone down. 16 minutes into the game. We're down about 1,000 gold, which is not great, not terrible. Definitely not out of it by any means. So something you should do in general, no matter what lane you're playing, is you need to get a little bit of a scope as to who is doing well and who's not. You know, who are your strong points, who are your weak points, who should you play around? So you look at the scoreboard here, I have a 4-0 Diana. On top of this, I know this guy's a Diana one-trick. He's a very good player playing Diana. So, you know, that information's in the back of my mind, thinking about, you know, if it's me and him in an area, how much do I trust him to be able to make a play? Conversely, the Camille not having a fantastic game, maybe don't go a little too hardcore if it's just me and Camille, is the point I'm trying to get at here. And even though my Jinx has died a few times, it's not necessarily because he's playing poorly. I think we're just getting heavily pressured. The Thresh has had some really good hooks this game, and sometimes that just happens. So that's another thing. You know, I have confidence in my ADC, which is a good thing. So we're trying to get a little bit of pressure on the turret here. I want to get in auto attacks to... Oh yeah, we kill him. I forgot about that. So this is TP. Cassidon's coming behind us now. So I don't have ult. I don't have exhaust either. The Tristana comes super close to dying there. This was a bad flash. I was not going to get away from this. Even if the Poppy hadn't TP'd in, Cassidon had enough mana to chase me down and enough HP. So I think that was a bad flash on my part. We came really close to killing the Tristana as well, which would have made it a 2-for-2, which would have been actually pretty good because we also burned their TPs to... They burned 2 TPs in that situation. Alright, so we're respawning. So, I guess I'll talk about item build quick. I like to build the Frostfang first, upgrade that into the ward item when you get enough gold. Lost Chapter for more mana and CDR. And that's going to turn into a Ludens. You can see I'm ping here what my exhaust and ult cooldown timer are. So they've swapped lanes, and it's kind of too late for us to go and swap and match. I actually didn't expect them to swap because no towers have gone down. But they sent Poppy bot lane. The Poppy's pretty tanky here. Has MR already, has armor, has ninja tabby. So we can slowly whittle him down. It's not easy though. We are getting damage onto her, but... So now I'm just trying to... I put my ult turret down here because I just want to try... I see that they're going to get top tower soon. It was a little bit of a desperate attempt to get this tower down. And we do actually get the kill here. So it worked out. We get the tower. It's not first tower, but, you know, at least we were able to match towers. So we were down 1,000 gold before. Now we're down 2,000. And we see that the duo lane is still pushing in top lane. And I see that Infernal spawning in 20 seconds. So rather than recall and try and stop them top, which would probably be too late anyway, We're just gonna have to give up a second tower, which sucks, but hopefully we can get this Infernal Dragon. We have pretty decent vision here. Diana is fed, she has 5 kills, and we killed a jungler, who did not have his ult up. So that's great for us. Our jungler dies, that's not great for us. The Camille TP's in though, so now it's a 4v4. I would say we have a little bit of an advantage here, because I think Diana is capable of scaring them off. If, you know, the Trist is the big, heavy fed person on their team. So we do get the Infernal. So it's basically 2 turrets to 1 plus Infernal is the trade. Which, when you're behind, that's an okay trade. Fine with that. So I have my Ludens done. Now I got a little bit of damage. I got my Sork Shoes bought. And I buy the Ruby Crystal. And that's going to turn into a Rylai, because you look at the enemy lineup, they have four melee characters pretty much. So I'll count Thresh as a melee character. So being able to kite them out with Rylai can be very helpful to your team. And at this point, let me actually just go back for a quick second here. So I almost killed a Tristana here. Let's watch right here, because that's where she is. Got a couple turrets down. So close to killing her. And at this point, I'm regretting buying the HP crystal instead of the... change the thing here. If I bought an Amp Tome instead of the HP crystal, I would have had a kill there. So, yeah, I went for the more defensive option. A little bit regret. Sometimes you might want to just commit to the squishiness of your build. Yeah, we're not gonna get that guy. He's got Thresh Lantern, he's Kassadin. Can't get him. So this is quite a few kills we missed out this game. A couple because of mechanics, a couple because of our item choices. Not the end of the world, but things to think about, to work on. So the Kassadin's TPing in here. Pretty sure I pinged it out fast enough that the team could have reacted, but I don't know, they didn't get out in time, so they died. Well, the Jinx died. This was a little bit bad. See, when I talked earlier about following up the plays of players who aren't doing so hot, Camille went a little ham there, and we all kind of committed to it, and we get stomped, and the enemy team is going to get Baron off this. I also had a really bad flash there. I flashed, I wasn't getting out of that. Shouldn't have done that. So now things are looking super grim. We are down 7,000 gold, and they haven't even started pushing with their Baron buff yet to get more advantages. So at this point in the game, I'm thinking, what can we possibly do? And again, you have to look at your team. So while Jinx doesn't have the prettiest scoreline, she's pretty strong. The Diana, pretty strong. I do relevant damage to anyone who isn't Poppy. Because Poppy has Adaptive Helm already. Trying to cheese here. Unfortunately, it's Tryndamere. I'm not going to be able to kill him. So I don't ult or anything, just get a little bit of damage down onto him. Had like a Tristana walked up or something, I would have tried to kill her. Basically, cheese is the only way you can really get back into games. And just capitalizing on the mistakes of the enemy. When you're down this far, I mean, 8,000 gold at 24 minutes is pretty substantial. So the Kassadin is going to be sitting here. I go for him. I don't have enough damage to really kill him. The Jinx ult hits him and he gets super low. And we also got a kill onto Tryndamere. So while we didn't kill the Kassadin, things are kind of looking a little bit better here for the time being. We're at least stalling their Baron push. We got Baron off one of them. They kill our jungler, unfortunately. I didn't realize she had Hourglass, and I also kind of waste exhaust there. It's kind of like just desperate to make sure we get a kill. So we picked up 3 kills. They got 1 while they had Baron. That's amazing for us. We're now down 7,000 gold, it looks like. So since they've gotten Baron buff, we've actually improved a little bit. And this is just from playing smart, taking advantage of, you know, bad positioning on the enemy. A little bit of cheese sitting in bushes. Now we're down 6,000 gold. Things are improving. One of the things you need to remember is so a common mistake I see in solo queue all the time, in all elos, is something like that happens where you do a couple of good things and things are looking up, and then your team forgets that you're massively down still, and then they try and do like a straight up 5v5 team fight where they get smashed and lose the game. That happens a lot. So my team doesn't do that, thankfully. We actually play this out pretty smart. We recognize we were behind still, and we're not looking to force massive fights. This game is going to be over in 2 minutes, by the way. We're at 26 minutes. So we know the enemy wants to keep pushing. I think some of them have Baron still? I'm not sure. I don't want to move the camera because then I have to relock onto me. So an important thing is to note that I've switched to Sweeper, which you should do anytime you get your jungle item. And I decide this is the bush I'm camping. My goal here is to pick someone off. I see that there's been no vision up until the way. And the great thing is, Kayn kind of shows himself in bot lane, so it makes it look like we're not necessarily sitting in this bush. People have been visible. The Kassadin is a little... He looks like he's not sure what's going on. That's Shifter, by the way. And he's dead. So we picked off another person. He had Hourglass too, so it's very important to land the stun there and to burst him down. Now here, let me move the camera a little bit. Here we actually get a couple of very important picks. And the Poppy TP's in behind. We kill the Tristana. We haven't been losing people. We're gonna kill the Poppy as well. That was kind of a weird flash from her. Let me go back 15 seconds because I want to show what I was doing here. So I recognize he's TPing in. Let me put this on follow for myself. Let's go back one more time. So I see the TP is coming in here. I start setting up turrets because I know I have Rylai. I land the stun immediately as she comes in. And basically, I see what's going on ahead of me, the fight we just showed. I'm trying to delay her arrival to that fight as long as possible. And what ends up happening is we kill 4 of them. Now this is fun. Watch what happens here. Just deleted. This is what I was talking about. The Diana player, terrific player. I know who he is. And 5 people are dead. We have a minion wave. We have 4 people with us. Camille is respawning and has teleport. We're actually going to try and win the game here. It's just Kassadin and Thresh. And we're healthy. We have me to help push. And just the Kassadin, his kit is about really killing one person. He's not able to kill all of us, even though he was very strong. And we end up winning the game. All because of one chain of events. We are actually down 8,000 gold. And we were down gold this entire game, even when we won. So the gold graph is down 8,000 gold and then slowly makes its way back to 0 and even. but then by that point the game is over. So this has been Support Heimerdinger. I probably could have gone over a lot more stuff, but just kind of rambled throughout the game. But I hope any of that was helpful. And if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'd be happy to answer them. You can ask me on Twitter at xagito. You can ask me on Reddit. Name is Agito there. Or you can add me in-game at Agito and ask me questions. So I hope you enjoyed this game. This game was actually, I was 1-1 in my Diamond 1 promo, and it was my first game of the day, which is always a little bit rocky, and generally I get a little uneasy playing against streamers because Shifter was streaming to 6,000 people, so basically all your actions are in full view for everyone to watch. But it was a good game. Played reasonably well. I had some bad flashes, some missed skill shots which could have made a difference, but it was a good game overall. So thank you guys for watching.